Welcome to the sprinkler channel. Today we're going to be going over a sprinkler startup and specifically with a backflow preventer after winterizing. So let's get started. First of all, you're going to want to find your valves, find the drip line valves with the filters on them, open those up, make sure all the filters are clean. If not, rinse them out. These ones are clean, so there's not much to do with them. So we'll just put them back in there, screw down the tops on top, make sure those are snug and everything's tight, and then we can move on to the next step. So just if they are dirty, just rinse them out with water or whatnot, and that should be good enough for them. Make sure everything else is secure. Make sure your valve solenoids are tight or screwed to the right. So I'm undoing them here and then turning them back so they're all snug, they're shut off, so that way when the water comes on, the zones don't automatically come on. So after that, let's go over to the backflow preventer. Here is how we left it at the beginning of the winter last, after winterizing it. We kept the check valve inside and we left these other pieces just on the backflow preventer set up here like this. And so there was some debris that got into these little crevices, so we'll want to clean those off before we install the check valve here. So this is the check valve that we stored inside, and that way none of the internal components froze during the winter time. So let's get started. Let's unscrew the wedge and take that out, and then we'll be able to slide this piece off, and you can see all the debris that kind of got on there during the winter time. So let's clean that off with the towel, get that all cleaned up and ready to go. Then pay attention to the arrows on the check valves. Our water flow is going this way, to the right, to the left, and then out to the valves. So make sure you don't put it upside down like this, and instead do it right side up like this, where you have the copper test valves pointing up. You'll still have that arrow that points in the direction of the flow the water should be going. So our flow once again is going right to left, so this is right. And then you'll want to make sure it's seated properly in there. Also pay attention to these O-rings on the end. Those are important. We'll come back to those in a little bit. And you have your little ejection port on the bottom. When you first turn on the water, it will spit out a little bit of water, but if it continues spitting out water, then there's something staying open inside the check valve. So just make sure that's seated properly. You'll be able to see it kind of click in there, and then after that, then you can just slide this other plastic piece against the check valve, and then we're ready to put the wedge back in there in the right orientation, so that way the screws line up, and that will screw down into the other piece that we slid forward. So make sure you do this kind of with just a hand screwdriver. If you use a drill or impact driver, then it might over tighten it, which would be bad, and it says right there on the wedge, do not over tighten. So just do it nice and snug with the Phillips head, and you should be good. These are the test valves. Make sure those are closed. It's just a flat head on the back side. You can twist those around if you want easier access. And here there's something hidden in this picture that we're going to come back to that caused issues. So now we have our ball valves that were just kept closed after we winterized them. We'll keep them closed as for right now until we get the water flowing. So let's go down 3 feet under to the crawl space where the water comes into the foundation wall. And as you can see here, it comes in and then goes up to the house, because this is the culinary water, right? And then you have your pressure reducer right there. And then we have the shutoff for the house, and then we have the shutoff for the sprinkler system that tees off the culinary water. So this is where you open up that ball valve. We left this drain valve open when we were draining the line, so we'll want to close that back, and then we'll have you listen to this water as it's starting to flow. And it's only going to go out the foundation wall and up to this backflow preventer, which is just on the other side. And then we'll open it wide open, and now we have full pressure, and we can see the water's flowing from opening up that drainage. So let's go back outside. All right, here we are again. The water's all the way up to this first ball valve, so we'll open it slowly, let all that water flow into the check valves. You'll hear it flowing, and we'll just gradually do that. And we'll kind of look for any issues that might be happening. After we open up that ball valve, then we go ahead and go across, and now we'll start letting it flow out of this backflow preventer and onto all of the valves throughout the landscape. So we'll just do this gradually, let it slowly pressurize. And in this case, it's going to this valve box, but it's also going, the main line goes all the way around to the other valve box on the other side of the house, so it's going to take a little bit. And of course the water is just flowing down in this direction. You can see some drip of water there. We'll come back and address that in a second here. So once the water is flowing, and here's the issue. We have this big drip going on here, and lo and behold, oh, here's an O-ring. Where did that come from? Well, it came from that side of the check valves when we installed it. It must have fell out, and you can see that water is dripping there. So we're gonna have to take this apart. As you can see, don't do like me. Open up one of the valves so you can release that back pressure before you take out the wedge. Otherwise, you're gonna get covered in water, and yeah, it's gonna be not good news. So, anyways, depressurize the system if you have to take this check valve out. And now we're missing both O-rings. Luckily, the other one is just right there sitting where it was installed. We'll put that one back on, make sure that gets seated properly. Then we'll grab the other one that we found down in the mulch below, install that one, which was allowing it to leak. And then we'll just carefully reinstall this in the right direction with the brass test valves up, and then we'll get it seated properly again. It's easy if you just use both fingers on each side of that sliding plastic piece to pull it forward. That will kind of lock it in place, and then use the wedge once again. As you'll notice this time, when we took out the wedge last time and the water sprayed everywhere, we lost one of the screws, so we're going to proceed forward with just using one screw and see how that works out. So now we have it reinstalled. The water's flowing through the check valves. Now we're going to start over again, open it up again, allow it to finish flowing all the way to the valves, all the way up to the valves, and pressurize the system up to the valves. So, yep, make sure the flows go in the right direction and then out to your valves. So, and after it gets, you slowly pressurize it, then you can go ahead and open up that ball valve all the way to let the full flow go. Just a precautionary step. And then we just come down here and start running through all the valves. Open up the valves. You can do it just manually like I like to do. Right there in the valve box, just quarter turn on the solenoids, and then go around and check all your sprinkler heads. These ones are just popping up off those posts that are little decorative posts right there that are going to water some potted plants. Then you can do it with the drip line too. Make sure there's no leaks when you open them up, and you can check all your drip line, make sure you don't have any cuts or breaks in your drip line. And as you see in this last one, we'll see that even this filter could cause issues. When we opened up this valve, we started getting this water coming out of the top, and I tried screwing it tighter thinking maybe it was loose, but that was not the case. So I had to shut off the valve, open up this cap. These are Hunter drip line filters, which have this cap on top, and there was kind of a deformed gasket on the top that I kind of reseated in there, reinstalled it, tested it out. It didn't leak anymore, so we're good to go. So after that, we'll move on to the other zones that deal with more of the lawn areas, and we'll just run on over here, open up the first valve, go run out to the lawn area, and wait for all those lines to get pressurized before the heads pop up. Once the heads pop up, then we'll be able to make sure that they're spraying their correct radius, that all the nozzles are in the head spraying correctly still, and we have the right coverage. And so that's what you'll want to do after you get up all these zones, is just make sure that all the heads are spraying correctly, there's no issues, you don't have any major leaks in the ground that you'll notice by the grass bubbling up or whatever. We'll go over things like that in another video, and how to adjust these heads rotors or pop-ups. So thanks for watching. Hope this helps, and we'll catch you in the next one. And until then, peace.